Hello, everyone. My name is Patra Francis. I am the co-founder and managing partner at Francis and Reeve Advisory. And today I have a pleasure to have Seth Stell on the call. He's a real entrepreneur and he's also own a marketing company. And we would like to, interview Seth about his business and also introduce Seth to other of our clients too. So there you go, Seth. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Yeah, I'm a designer, creative. Those words are usually always crossed. What I do for business is one of the things that I am capable of doing, but as a creative and a design person, I'm a creative designer, a musician, a chef. I just do creative things. As it stands right now, one of the things that I've been most successful in doing is starting a design studio. So I have 18 contractors, and we help companies large and small to get their design needs met. So it could be anywhere from Nike, Google, Facebook, who we have contracts with, and Microsoft. Let me not forget like the big companies, but all the way down to lawn care companies, house restoration companies, and somewhere in between with like healthcare companies. So we do it all. The company is called Good Brand, and the reason that I call it Good Brand is because everyone deserves a good brand, large or small. And yeah, so that's what we do, and we're doing good at it.
Yeah, and I very like the name of your brand, Good Brand. It's very like straightforward. That's what you want
Straightforward.
to. Yeah. So, and how long have you been doing, in the
It'll
market?
be it'll be 8 years now. I had 15 years of experience in-house before I started Good Brand. So for the first 15 years, I was working for companies, working for design companies, and helping their studios run better and creating, better systems and also producing the work. So I went from being just a designer who just produced the work to then being the person that's like, hey, listen, I'll manage the designers. I know how designers think. I'll manage them. And then from that, I obviously graduated to like, I'm gonna build a studio because I know how it all works. From being a junior designer to being a senior designer to being a creative director to then being the founder, owner, and operator. I know how it all works because there's only three things that clients want.
Mm-hmm.
They want quality, which is why they hired you in the first place. They want speed, and they want cost effectiveness. So they want to make sure that they're not overspending for the work they're hiring you for. If you can do all three of those things, um, you got a good chance. You got a good chance to stay in the industry and stay important and remain relevant.
Yeah, and what I like about you is that everything that you say right there is all about clients. You only focus on client. Number one, you talk about the result that you're going to deliver to clients, and number two is the speed. And then what is the last one that you said?
Cost effectiveness.
Cost effectiveness. So everything you're.
So whenever in my industry, whenever a marketing manager or a marketing director or a CMO, which is chief marketing officer, anybody that's control of the marketing budget, right? They're making decisions about their budget,
Mm-hmm.
and they're interviewing a number of different people, right? You're not the only one. You have to accept the fact that you're not the only one. It's like dating. You got to accept that just because you went out on dinner on Friday doesn't mean that they're not going on dinner on Saturday with someone else. You have to accept that reality. But what you're telling the client is, I'm going to give you a better quality. I'm going to do it faster, and I'm going to save you money. And if
Yeah.
you can demonstrate those three things as a services company, right,
Mm-hmm.
you can remain relevant and you can remain competitive in the marketplace. Because there are very few companies that will pay you to not have good quality, not be fast, and cost them more money than if they could come to another company like myself. Like, you're just not going to find a lot of companies like that.
Yeah, because in the market there are so many marketing company out there, and you want to be like differentiate yourself, like different than others marketing company. And for you, it's all about focusing on clients, cost effective, produce result. Is that right? I mean, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, the truth is this: if I can do those three things,
Mhm.
companies never leave me. So if
Yeah.
a company comes and I say, hey, listen, give me 1 quarter, give me 3 months of your business or 4 months of your business. And I'm going to show you that I'm going to increase your quality and I'm going to produce better work,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's going to be faster. And as a result of that, you're going to save money. It's probably going to make you want to spend more money with me because the money I saved you, you're probably going to put it right back over to me because it's like everything's going great. Let's just keep giving Seth money because we're growing. So the same money that you think you're saving, I'm actually getting back
Yeah.
because I've taken the risk to prove my value first. So
Mm-hmm.
at a certain point, it becomes no longer a risk because I've proved it. I was like, I've proved my value. I've proved that I'm the right person. What? You want to go hire another company? You want to take that risk? You want to go hire employees and bring them internally and try and manage them and take that risk? Seth has proven that like anything we've ever asked him to do, quality is actually above and beyond what we thought it was going to be. Came in earlier and wow, how did he do something that we thought would cost 10,000? How did he do it at 8,000?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that money just comes back to me.
So it's like working with you is no longer an expense, it's more like an investment that they're
And
gonna get a return back. That's
right.
totally get
And
it.
on their financial books, they're seeing the returns. They're not
Yeah.
only seeing their business grow, they're also seeing that quarterly they're saving more money because most of my team lives outside of the United States, right? So I got people in Argentina, Colombia, Chile, Peru, Sri Lanka, España, Spain, Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have another team in New York, Seattle, and LA, which runs the front of the house of the team. So they're not only seeing the results in the production, they're seeing the results also on their books because there's like last year we spent $40,000. This year, for a quarter, right? For a quarter. And this year we spent 25,000 and Seth produced more work at
Mm-hmm.
a higher quality. Like they don't want that train to stop. They're like, we want to continue this because this is fantastic and keep going. So that's my model. As a services-based business, I'm not a product company. I'm a company that is fueled by people and a company that's fueled by the ability for me to find the right people at the highest level of quality for the clients that are interested in my services.
Yeah. And can you tell us about like most majority of your clients, are they US clients or do you have like target audience? Do
I
you
only have 2 territories, and I
Mhm.
call them territories because they are territories. I only have 2 territories where I do work. I cover the entire United States market and Europe. So I have clients in Germany, France,
Wow.
Italy, and I have clients in all of the United States, Seattle, New York, Los Angeles, Texas, Miami, Idaho, which just happened. That's a new one. Minnesota, that's been there for a while. And all the other things in between that I'm forgetting, but it's basically the Western market. So USA and Europa. Germany's been great to us. Actually, as an outlier, I got one territory that has also been good to us, which is Japan. Japan has been really great to us because I worked for a company previously called Toyota. You might know about it. Most
Oh
of us
yeah,
drive
it's a big
Toyotas. I
company.
have a Toyota in my driveway,
Oh,
but Toyota also contracts us to do some design work for them. So that would be the only Asian continent or country, that I do work with, but we keep it Western. And yeah, that's the way it goes.
and how did you get to work with Toyota? Toyota is the big automobile company. Did you have any connection there, or how do you approach them?
So when I was living in Seattle, I worked for a company and they were doing the design and the development for the driver experience. So most people don't understand that there's companies that focus on the driver experience. What does the driver experience mean? That means when you're driving and you're looking at your dashboard or you're looking at your screen, everything that's helping you make decisions about the nearest gas station or how much gas do you have in your car or does someone not have their seatbelt on, all that's called driver experience, right? And so I worked for a company that focused on driver experience, and they hired me to work with a design team because the design team at that time was just 20 people in Japan. And they decided that they wanted to build an office in Seattle and expand the design team to be cross-continental, meaning not in just one place, meaning not homogenous, meaning not groupthink in just one thing, right? One focused group of people. And so when they hired me, I understood that one of the most important things about building a vehicle that most of the world drives is that if your design team who's building the driver experience is just 20 people in Japan, how can you truly say that you built a vehicle for the world?
Mm,
Because there's people in Africa driving Toyotas. There's people in Switzerland driving Toyotas. There's people in all these other countries driving Toyotas, but your design team is only focusing on the problems of driving in their country,
mm,
not the problems that people drive in the world.
yeah.
So I had to build a Seattle studio where we had every color, every language, whatever you think it is, I found them and put them in one studio because our job was to build a driving experience that had the same concerns and the same values for people from all around the world. Because you know what? Imagine this. Some people drive on the opposite side of the road than you drive
Oh
on.
yeah.
Number one, right? So
I,
that's
I
the
know
easy,
that.
that's the easiest problem to solve, right? So we know that one. But culturally, right? Culturally, there are countries that don't parallel park.
Mm,
There's other countries where you parallel park all the time.
everywhere.
Like if you don't know how
Yeah.
to, there's other countries that don't really use lights. They don't use the turn signals. They don't do that. And they need a driving experience that tells them, hey, turn your lights on or whatnot. Right. There's so many cultures that are so different. So you can't design a product that's simply just focusing on where it's being manufactured, which would be Japan. You have to consider where you're sending your product. And where you're
Mm.
sending your product is a lot of other places that have a lot of other cultures, values, and motivations. So that's how I got to Toyota.
I see. That's when you talk about like driving, different country driving from the different side, because originally I'm from Thailand and we are driving on the like opposite side than the US. And when you drive also like on the opposite side than the US too. And when you talk about parallel parking, it totally makes sense. I feel like in the city, we mostly park in like, because you don't have a lot of parking.
There's not a lot of space. There's
Yes,
not a lot of
exactly.
space. So you got to be a little more creative with your parking needs. I get it. I was in Thailand 3 times. The latest time, don't judge me. The latest time I was in Phuket City for a wedding. I was there for 3 weeks. And I rented a motorcycle, not a scooter, an actual motorcycle that switches gears and manual, and I drove around that southern area of Thailand. And it's
Mhm.
the same thing. I had to reprogram the way I think about driving and about culture. So I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that, how to get into Toyota, right? And that's gonna inspire other
Big
people.
company. That was incredible. That was one of the biggest things that happened in my life. So
Yeah.
uh,
So
working with companies and understanding how they operate.
yeah.
Uh,
So do you prefer to work with like a bigger corporations or more like a small to medium sized businesses?
Small to medium size.
Small to medium size.
I enjoy the checks that come from the big companies. I enjoy seeing that big check that comes in monthly, but the bureaucracy, or I didn't say that correctly, bureaucracy, and just the meetings to have meetings to have meetings, the corporate structure.
Mm-hmm.
It's far more diplomatic, and the money's great. However, at the same time, you can't get your work done as fast,
Mm.
right? Because with most big companies, so I named off the companies I've worked with: Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Nike, Toyota, and I'm missing some others. What happens is there's a legal department at these companies.
Like
And
compliant.
anything compliant. So anything you create or do, you're going to lose 3 or 4 weeks
Mm.
where they got to review everything with a close lens and make sure that, because they're playing a different game. They're playing the big world game. And really, we're just trying to be designers and create hot stuff for them. I almost said shit, but I wanted to say stuff. And so I love the small, medium-sized businesses because they usually have enough budget, which means they don't have no money, but they don't have the big money, but they have enough that, helps the business grow. But because they're a small organization, they can move faster and make faster decisions.
Yeah, and you get a chance to like speak to a business owners too, right? So
And
you can
you actually
how they
get visibility to the people who are actually running the business. Whereas, like when you go to the Fortune 500 companies, the big companies, the person you're talking to, there's probably 20 other people above them before you get to the person that you want to talk to make it all faster, but you're never going to get to them. So you
Mm.
know that reality. And you also know that that person's only going to be there for 3 to 4 years or 5 years before they get back on LinkedIn and take all of their experience and credentials and go get a job somewhere else. So like you're also talking to people who are in limbo. They are shopping, whereas like small, medium-sized businesses, the retention rate of employees is higher and they stay longer and you have more access to them and they actually have more commitment to the business because they're trying to stay there. So they're almost like a micro CEO, right?
Mm.
Because like they don't want to really go to another job. They want to make sure where they're at right now works as long as it needs to work for their life. So I prefer small SMB, medium-sized businesses.
So do you have like a specific industry or specific niche that you like to work with?
No,
Gotcha. Just like small to medium-sized businesses. So most of majority of
Well, now I want to make it clear, we do have the big businesses that we work with too. But I find more fulfillment and joy
Mhm.
in working with the small to medium-sized businesses, right? When it comes to industries, good brand is exactly what it is. Everyone deserves a good brand. Like one of my favorite clients, they only do $25,000 with us a year. Oh, so don't get excited. That's not a lot of money. They're a small little lawn care company. They cut people's grass, right? That's what they do.
Mhm.
But when they came to me, they had a budget of $5,000 and they wanted to grow their lawn care company. So imagine they had 2 trucks and they had 5 people and they go around and they make sure that everyone's lawns look beautiful.
Yeah. So when you talk about like your company, you are helping them building the brand, which is like including logo, the image of the like the look of the company. Yeah.
Logo, website, anything that has your brand on it,
Right.
we're going to make sure it's better than what you came to us with.
Gotcha. Do you help?
Even social media. So we have some clients that hire us to do their social media videos where it's
Yeah.
like, hey, have your brother film on your camera, on your phone, you cleaning somebody's lawn in February when the weather is bad, or snow plowing when it's snowing and you're out there snow plowing. Just give me a 30-second video. I'm gonna put music behind it. I'm gonna clean up the video, make it look cool. I'm gonna slap your logo on it, and I'm gonna tell you, here are all the places you gotta send it, and we're gonna do it 3 times a month, and we're gonna let everybody know that even when everyone else is inside,
Mhm.
scared of the snow, you're out there making sure that whoever has the drive has a clean driveway, all those type of things. And we do that from a small scale all the way to a large scale.
Gotcha. Because social media nowadays is the big things, right? That is a good thing that you mentioned that because many of our clients probably need that type of service to have like spread the word out there. And many people use social media, watching social media instead of TV now. So that's
And
good.
honestly, I'll be honest, when I started the company, that wasn't my passion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When I started the company, I just wanted to focus on brand, design, website development, engineering of websites. I wasn't really focused on that, right? I was like, nah, I don't want to do anything with that. I had to learn that. And how I learned that, here's the crazy part. As I hired younger talent, they were coming in and saying, Seth, like, are you thinking about TikTok? Are you thinking about Instagram? Are you thinking about Facebook? Like, no, I wasn't. That was the truth. But they were, because they come from a different generation. And I said, okay, guys, let's talk about it. So in my company, I have a group. We meet every Monday at 3:30 to talk about all the trends and social media things that are happening in the world, because basically they created the group to keep this old man up to speed on what's going on in the young world. You know what I mean? So that was their idea. They're like, Seth, we're going to create a group where we meet once a week to just keep you up to speed on what's going on in this modern digital world. I appreciate it. And we've been very successful in that. We've built some great services.
I see. So it's even though you started from, branding, logo, designing, and then you see that there is a need from your clients that they need the social media to help out. You just like, go ahead and willing to help the client, not just, telling the client go find other services. So I like that a lot about you.
We never tell clients to go somewhere else unless we really need to, unless we really, really know we can't do it internally. I grew up in sports, so I'm a 3-sport athlete: baseball, football, and wrestling. And so most of my life growing up, I was after school, I was playing one of those three sports. I never had time off. I was boring. No girls liked me when I was playing sports because I never had time to date. You know, it's just like I'm doing these things, right? But what I did learn about sports is sometimes your coach is going to come to you and say, hey, we're going to change your position. I know you were this position, but now we need you here. Well, you got two choices. Be mad about it, complain about it, or you adapt and adjust and be just as good as you were at this position at that position. And so as I've grown the business, we focus at Good Brand at being subject matter experts, which means if a client that hired us to do one thing is now talking to us about another thing that they're trying to figure out. And I know that we have those resources in-house. I'm just going to call a timeout and say, hey, let's schedule another 30 minutes. I have an expert in-house. We'll have a conversation with them. I am your subject matter expert to solve your problems. And then after we figure out the problem we're solving, we can also do it.
Yeah.
We can also create it. And I'm also going to be the subject matter expert that if you tell me something that's stupid, I'll say, guys, that was 5 years ago. No one's doing that now. Don't spend your money, time, energy on thinking that way. No one in the industry is doing that right now. You're going to waste money. You're not going to be satisfied. You're not going to succeed in your goals. Don't do it. And then I'm the third person, which is, unfortunately, guys, at this point, we cannot service that in-house at Good Brand. However, consolation, we got great partners that we work with that can do those things for you. I'd be happy to send you an email and introduce you into those services and get you going with those other companies. We've been working with them for over 10 years.
Yeah, that's very great. That's how successful people, they're not just looking at one thing that what they are doing now, but they know that when they're expert at one subject and you are not afraid of hopping into the area that you are like an unknown area, right? You are willing to use your foundation, the knowledge that you have to build something else. That's very great. Thank you.
And Patra, here's the golden secret. I sometimes find joy in giving my partners clients, even though I know I'm losing money, I find joy in it because I know it's gonna come back to me. It's like, we can't do anything for them right now, but I do know the right person. I'm gonna pass them over here. And I know when I sleep at night that I can go to sleep confident and comfortable knowing that I helped one of my friends' companies grow incrementally. And I know that they're sleeping thinking, we got to find something to send back to Seth. We got to find a client to give back to Seth. So over time, you do build a network where everyone is passing between each other. And you can't be afraid of that moment. Even when you really need that money in that moment, you got to say, you know what? One, we don't have the right person. And two, I know the other person that can do this. And three, let's just give it to them and get them going and let's just hope for the best,
Yeah. And at the end, it saves time for your clients too. Instead of they have to spending time do researching, you already know that this person is good and you refer to them. That's very valuable.
Saving them 2 or 3 weeks. You're saving them 2 or 3 weeks easily.
That's awesome. Time is money, right? So, and can you tell me again, where is your business located? Is it in Seattle or
It's
Texas?
in Seattle, Washington. That's where we formulated the business. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much for sharing about your business. Now we want to hear more about, I know that, when you started your business, you have different challenges. And at this point, what is the challenging or the most pain point that you have in your business? Like there are different things like marketing, because when you are a business owner, there are different things that you have to do. Like you have to be a marketing person, you have to be a sales person, you have to be like, hiring people, or like making sure the team or coaching the team. What is the biggest pain point in your business at this point? And I mean, I know that your business is pretty successful now. And what is that? You are already in the 7-figure company. So
Yeah, that's crazy. 7 figures. I went from 7 figures to $35,000. So
wow.
when I played the corporate world, I cashed out my 401k. And my 401k cashed out at a little over 35,000, but once they took taxes, I had $35,000 to start my business. I'm just being truly transparent. I'm just being like, that's what it was. I was eating ham and cheese sandwiches, which I grew up on, so that didn't really bother me. Noodles and rice, cheap meat. So, I'd get a whole a rotisserie chicken and chop it up. And, I would eat rice and soy sauce and mayonnaise and mix it up. And like I was just eating protein, just getting the protein I needed to move forward. In addition to that, I wasn't going out anymore. I used to be the guy that had 2 cars in his driveway. I had a Land Cruiser and a BMW, and actually 3, considering the fact that I also had a motorcycle in Seattle. I was the guy,
Mhm.
bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment in one of the most desirable neighborhoods in the world, overlooking the ocean. Yeah, I did all that, saw all that, did all that, lived all that, all that. I let all that go. And so I found myself in a studio apartment with no car, just a motorcycle, because I sold my cars. Like I amassed all the money that I needed to start the business. So all I have is a motorcycle, and having a motorcycle in Seattle sounds cool, but you do have to remember that there's 7 months out of the year where it rains every.
Mhm. That's not fun.
So it's like you got to put on your rain gear. You're driving on your motorcycle. The roads are bad. The water's coming down on you. You got to change your clothes when you get to whatever destination you're at. So it wasn't pleasant. But I will say this. My business up to this point was built organically because I had the 15 years of experience
Mhm.
in.
Yeah.
So all of my designers and all of my friends and copywriters and QA resources and engineering and development resources, all of these resources were in-house. But now at my age, by the way, if anyone's wondering my age, I'm 40. If anyone's wondering my age, people are starting to leave that corporate structure and they're starting to start their own freelance companies and contracting companies and whatnot. So it was a time where I was able to grow my business because I still had friends, and I would have never got into Nike if I just knocked on Nike's door like, hey, Nike, I want to work for you. Do you imagine how many people want to work for Nike? Come on,
I,
right? I
mhm.
got into Nike because one of the friends that I worked with was already working with
Because
me,
of network.
and he's like, "Oh, I got a guy," right? I didn't get into Google because I just knocked on their door and was like, "Hey, you know,
But
I
I feel
was."
like because you probably did some good work, that's why your friends are willing to introduce you to others, like a big company too.
But I will say this: I can't guarantee that everything I did was great work, but I can guarantee this: they love to work with me. And
Mm.
they knew that even if I didn't do great
That,
work, they knew that I would fix it and I would get it to the standard that they wanted. So they knew that, like, Seth does great work, but sometimes, we miss the mark and it's not where we want it. But we also know that he's so likable, so agreeable, so appreciative of the opportunity that if we have anything that needs to be changed, it's not going to be another company that's like, well, that's what we did. You paid me the money. Seth's gonna be like, oh, I understand. Like, we can fix that. When do you need it? 4 or 5 days? Like, I totally understand your reason now that I understand, right?
Mm,
You know, agreeable and willing to get it to
like
where they want it, because that's what they're paying for,
also like
right?
dependable, right? Dependable,
Right.
reliable. They know they can rely on you. That's
And they
important.
know they can tell me the truth.
Yeah.
They know they can be like, Seth, this was shit. Like, I don't know what designer you put on this. This was shit. And I'll be like, okay, walk me through it, explain it to me. And I'll listen and I'll be like, you know what, guys, you're right. That we didn't meet your mark. Give me 5 days. We're gonna get where you want to be. Thank you for the honesty. I appreciate the clarity. That actually helps me do a better job, because sometimes clients have to understand that it is part of their responsibility to be very clear of
Mhm.
what they want and expect.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like any relationship. You can't be the only person in the relationship that's like, I expect them to do this, but I'm not going to say anything, and I just hope they do that. It's like, no, there is a responsibility to communicate your expectations and what you want. And if you're failing to do that, you can't be mad if you don't get what you want. So I always tell my clients, all my new clients, when they start with me, hey, tell me what you want. It might not be what you get, because once you tell me what you want, I'm going to say, I hear what you want, but what you actually want is this other thing.
Mm. So it
But
looks
until you tell me what you want, I'm just I'm just designing in a bubble. You know
right.
what I'm just guessing. I'm trying to think like you think,
Right.
and that's horrible. You know what I mean? So just tell me what you want, and I'll say, oh, okay, that's what you think. That's what you think you want, but after hearing it out of your mouth, what I'm hearing is, how about this? And then I show it to them and they go, oh my God, that's exactly what I want. But here's the crazy part. That's not even what they said, right? Because I had to take what they thought they wanted and then figure out what they really want. And not everyone is
Mm.
great at communication. You got to take the foundation and figure out the motivation.
Yeah, it looks like your ability of asking questions too, because sometimes, the client wanted to communicate with you what they want, but they may think that way, but they may not, there is an area that they did not know about it before. But if you ask like great questions to them, it's kind of like open their eyes to like different things. So ability to ask questions in order for them to like communicate with you what they want. I think that's your ability too, right?
I prefer to be in your position where you're asking questions as opposed to on this interview. I prefer to be in your position because you're asking questions, you're extracting information, you're trying to understand. Like, I prefer to be in that. And that's where, honestly, that's where my clients find the best value with me, because they think they're just paying for someone to design something.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, at this point in my career, I don't just design something. It's like, I want to get into their mindset. And most importantly, I want to understand their motivation. What
Exactly.
is the motivation? Why do you want to do this? What do you expect the result to be? Financially, economically, personally, I got to get in there, because that's going to help me figure out how much time and energy and money it's going to take. But I
Mm-hmm.
have to understand it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Seth. We have another like 9 minutes left. Would you mind if I dive into like your experience, how it's like working with us, and how did you discover our services? How do you get to know us and
How
your
did I discover your services was basically a referral. So I was referred by another company that has been successful with you. I'll keep it that short. Um,
thank you.
where where have I found successes? Well, the truth is this: for all business owners, and I'm speaking from a small business owner. So I'm not even a medium-sized business. So for all of you medium-sized businesses who might be reaching this case study, I don't have your problems because I know that those problems are bigger than my problems. But as a small business, I will tell you this, to have the certainty and the confidence of somebody thinking about things that you don't have time to think about, because here's the biggest plight of a business owner. You start a business to do something. Let's say you're a carpenter. You start a business to do this. You start a business to create a chair. You're good at carpentry. You're good at it. Everybody in your town knows you're good at it. Your family knows you're good at it. And that's what you do. But never in your mind did you ever think that part of starting a carpentry business, you also had to understand your financial services, meaning your taxes, meaning the advantages or the disadvantages of, building your business. Because really at your heart, you're just a carpenter, right? You just build furniture. And that's all you really want to do. But you started a business and you start to realize that half of your time every month is being spent on doing things that you're really not good at, like trying to work in QuickBooks and trying to do it on your own, when really, if you're willing to let a little bit of money go quarterly or however they plan out your financial structure, so you can get back to the thing that you wanted to do originally, you're going to live a happier life. And so what Francis and Reeves has done for me is they have given me the opportunity and the hope that I can just get back to being a designer. Starting a design company, helping people with their marketing and their content and their social media and their videos. Never in a million years I'll be like, oh, and also I need to be a professional in accounting services, and I need to have a relationship with the IRS, and I don't want that.
That would driving people nuts, right? To do different things.
I just want to do the thing that I was supposed to do, and I want to hire the people who could support me in that. And that is one of the biggest struggles that business owners encounter, is like, all they want to do is just get back to what they wanted to do in the first place. They don't want to be an accountant. They don't want to be a controller. They don't want to do payroll. They don't want to have a relationship with the IRS. They want to make sure that the IRS is always good with them, but they don't want to have an ongoing conversation with the IRS and, figuring out all the things you need to do. So what your company has brought to me is exactly what I've been looking for a long time. And truth be told, this isn't my first stop. I've worked with other tax preparation, accounting, controlling, whatever you want to call it, companies. But here, you're going to get the full outfit. And what I enjoy the most is you're thinking about 2 to 3 months ahead of me. And letting me know, hey, Seth, here's what's coming. Have you thought about this? And the answer is no, I haven't. But thank you for thinking about that before me, because now I have time to think about it, right? Because as the person who's creating the product and providing the service, we don't have time to think about these things.
Yeah. Would you say that by working with us, it's giving you a peace of mind that you've been looking for it for a long time? You've been working with different accounting firm, and you came like with a different problem with the IRS, and now you feel like you are in good hands, and it gives you peace of mind that you can go do some other work somewhere, like focus on what you do best.
100%. I just want to get back to doing what I wanted to do, which was just create good brands for the world, right? And I know that sounds funny because I just said the company's name in that phrase, but really all I want to do is create good brands. Don't forget, like I told you from the beginning of this call, we got a lawn care company that only spends $25,000 with us a year, and we make their brand like just as special and just as bright and just as impactful in their community as it would be Google or Facebook. I just want to work with good brands. And I want someone to manage my money. And I'm a simple man.
Mm-hmm.
So let's also make that clear too. I'm simple. So I'm not asking for much. I don't need much. I live a very simple life. Um, but I also want to make sure we're secured and we're doing the right things. And you've brought all of that security and comfort and value to that portion of the things that keep me up at night. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, Francis and Maria's got that covered. They'll call me if they see a problem. I can go focus back on the things that I need to focus on. I don't want to focus on that anymore. Patra's gonna hit me up and she's gonna tell me when and if she needs to have a call with me, just like today, or just like the other day when you contacted me and said, "Hey, Seth, we just found this opportunity that we should explore." That gives me value.
Yeah, do you want to share with the audience too? How much did we save you in taxes in 2023? Or even
2023, what was that? 47,000, 36, 47,000 dollars, something like that.
I think to be accurate, it's about 38,000.
Yeah, so we're crossing hairs. You see that, guys? Anyone who's gonna watch this, we're 38 to $40,000 was saved, and we're trending to going into the new year, which would be 2024. If my math is correct, it's not that easy, or it's not that hard. But we're gonna do 200 and something plus thousand, 224, 240 some $1,000 in savings.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, to run the business. So it's a real thing for, and I want to speak to business owners who watch this. It's not that you can't do it, because I could probably do this. I could probably figure out all the math and do this on my own. But it's, can you do it and do you want to do it, because you also have to run your business. And
Mm-hmm.
if you stop running your business and you stop creating furniture or you stop creating beautiful websites because you have all your time tied up into understanding something that Francis and Reeves already understands, you're also going to see that in your bottom line when you get your P&L and when you get your performance for the year. So find the right resources to take care of you, which I believe Francis and Reeves can do, and just get back to doing the thing that you originally wanted to do to generate and grow your revenue and grow your company and hopefully increase your optimization of clients and employees, because those are the two important things as a services company. If you have high turnover and optimization and you have high turnover and retention, you're going to feel it, right? So keep your employees happy, keep your services elite, and have the quality at the highest levels you can produce, and let them take care of the rest and just focus on it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Seth, for your kind word. And I want to touch base a little bit about the tax saving, right? In 2023, we were able to save you like 38,000. That's because of we could save you more than that if we met sooner at the beginning of the year. But we met like in December of 2023, and with tax planning, it works best if we engage together, start working on a tax plan at the beginning of the year, so you can get the full benefit of the whole year, because there are some strategies that require you to implement at the beginning of the year. So that's the reason why our projection for 2024, it's going to be a lot greater, and the more you make on your net income, the more we will be able to save you in taxes. And by working with us, it's not just you working with me or by myself. You also work with other of our team member, and you met Marisol already. Marisol is one of our accounting manager, and you probably met with her like how many times now, Seth? Is it 3
Big
times?
time.
And how was your experience working with her?
She's on top of it. She understands exactly what's going on, and that's what I need, that's what I expected, and that's what I hoped. So yeah.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Seth. I think that's all I have. You nail it, and I really appreciate your kind word and your communication going in details. And I love it when you get up and like, with your chair and all that, I can really tell that you're a good communicator.
Well, the problem is I'm an entrepreneur and I'm also very passionate and crazy. So if there's anything that I can do or use to communicate what I'm trying to communicate, I'm gonna do it. And it doesn't work for everyone. It's not, I wouldn't say I have the best communication style, but I do know I have a good one because you just want to make it clear, right? No one can do the same things all. And that's one of the biggest words that's driven my life is all, A-L-L. A lot of people who think they're business owners or entrepreneurs, they just think all. No, 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 no. The biggest secret to building businesses and maintaining businesses is understanding that it's not all. It's what part of the business you choose to control and manage.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to need a lot of other people, services that you pay for, including yourself, to make sure that business runs smoothly. And if you don't understand that, you're just going to be doing a lot of stuff on your own, and that's going to be a pretty painful life.
Yeah, I mean, being a business owner is kind of lonely too. So that's why I know that last call you were talking about, why you're doing the business. You're not just thinking about doing it for yourself. You're also thinking about your team. Because if you do everything for yourself, you're gonna be like, you're gonna go fast, but in the long run, you're not gonna go that far, right? That's why you need a team of people, and it's more fun too.
You can't maintain growth alone. You got to
Yeah.
have a team of people that do that, and that's the way it goes.
Yeah. I feel like I get to know you more on this call than, other meetings, and I very appreciate, your authenticity too.
I appreciate you giving me time to tell you the truth because I have failed a lot in life, but I'm a real winner. Um, I enjoy the fact that I had to figure out a lot of things along the way. I mean, full disclosure for if this section of the call is recorded, which it seems like it is. Listen, guys, like I'm working out some shit with the IRS that I know I can pay for, but I just want to understand it better because I don't want to do it again. But imagine, 10 years ago, I'm 40, so imagine a 30-year-old kid who's just starting a business, making decisions, not knowing, not having a Francis and Reeves, not having companies around them, just making stupid decisions and not knowing that I could have avoided this stuff. And
Mhm.
now we're cleaning it all up. And it's not going to happen again because obviously 10 years later, I'm 40. So it's like I'm now a full-fledged man. And fun fact, I couldn't even grow a beard when I was 30. So 10 years later, everything that left my head has has now gone down to my chin.
Is
So
that
it's
gravity?
huh?
Is that gravity? Is that because of the gravity?
We could call it gravity, but I would also call it biology because I just feel like at a certain point things change in your body, whatever it might be. But I would say that I don't I don't feel bad about being young, starting a business, taking out a 401k, getting a small business loan, pulling all that money
Wow.
together, trying to find the right resources, going to find clients, build up the services. But what I do feel bad about and don't at the same time, I'm trying to say I do and don't. I don't feel bad that I just made decisions and I did what I did and probably could have chose better interest rates and didn't have the right accounting team around me. But what I did have above all else is I had the ability that I really wanted to do it.
Yeah, and stay consistency, right?
And now I gotta pay for the really wanting to do it tax, right? But I proved to the world that I could, even if I lose a little extra money in interest or hiring additional accounting firms like Francis and Reeve to, help me get all this, everything back in line. I'm still not sad about the fact that I was just a boy from a poor neighborhood that started a business, and here I am today, and I did whatever I could to make it happen. And you know what? I'm never gonna feel bad about that.
Yeah.
I'm never. No one can ever make me feel. I didn't come from a privileged family. I built this shit from the ground up, out of the mud.
Wow. And now you
So,
build 7 figure, gonna go to 8 figures.
and we're
That,
gonna go to 8 figures, and I don't care. So as we go to 8 figures, I'm going to figure all this out. We're going to have a better financial structure, thanks to Francis and Reeve. We're going to have a better system. We're going to be on top of our quarterly tax payments. On top of that, we're going to get into charitables. We're going to get everything in a position where I'm not hurting as much as I am right now. It doesn't hurt as much because I am a simple person, which means I don't really feel the financial burden that's happening with our business growth because I don't need much. But at the end of the day, there will be a day where I'm going to want what I've worked so hard for. And that's just not the day.
yeah, that's very inspiring, Seth, to go through for the whole process. And now you have 7 figure firms and have like many team member in your firm too, right? So yeah, thank you so much for sharing and your time. And